Sister Vicious Power Hungry Bitch is an icon. And as the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence for the past 30 years have been present, not only in San Francisco, but in the course of 30 years, have grown and become a worldwide phenomenon. The combination of political activism, community service, and amazing theater has all come together to provide something that is not new, actually. It's ages old in terms of looking at the sacred and the profane. When I think of Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, I think of the sacred clowns. I think of the jesters. I think of the shamans. And Sister Vicious Power Hungry Bitch is one of the co-founders of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and she is here to share some knowledge with you and her vision. So please give Sister a hand.
Okay, before I start, I'm going to have to take these off because I have glasses and I can't read. Where have all the radicals gone? Where have all the radicals gone? Long time passing. Where have all the radicals gone? Long time ago. Where have all the radicals gone? Gone to sleep, everyone. When will we ever learn? When will we ever learn? The vital role of queer radicals using political theater is legendary. The Cockettes set the standard in the late 1960s. A former Cockette characterized their performances. Quote, "Of course they were political, but no one among us verbalized it. We had no need of rhetoric. We were madcap chefs cooking up a storm, and the ingredients were theater, magic, and tribal anarchy." Words, words. We didn't need words, we had political images. Their successors, the Angels of Light, carried on with Paris under the bourgeoisie, attacking the ruling class. The anti-imperialist Cyclones. The Hindu queer spiritual odyssey, Holy Cow. In 1973, the Radical Queens sponsored a Kiss a Queer booth at Temple University. The Cycle Sluts used gender fuck as a potent theatrical weapon. Then came the Radical Fairies, ACT UP and Queer Nation in the 1980s. And currently, since 1979, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We must be imaginative visionaries, supplying originality to a movement that is often reduced to a civil rights agenda. Speaking of civil rights, with our defeat in Maine, we now have lost marriage rights in 31 states. What I read this week in Bay Times by Ann Rostow pretty much sums up the state of marriage rights at this time in this country. She writes, "I'm guessing that we really underestimated the breadth of anti-marriage sentiment. Dislike of gay men and women is not only intense on the right fringe, but it is also pervasive across the political spectrum. By contrast, our support in the center and the center left is, let's call it affectionate, or maybe principled. It's not passionate enough to counter the opposition. These elections are great for exposing the depth of homophobia in this society, not just from the religious lunatics, but also from our liberal friends. But civil rights are not a panacea. Civil rights are a tool for social change, not just electoral change, but radical cultural transformation. I'll work my ass off to reverse Prop A. Signature gathering, phone calling, canvassing, campaigning. But an election victory is not what excites me about this marriage issue. While visiting my mom 3 summers ago, as the marriage issue began to be debated in Iowa, we were watching a news report on the subject. As a lesbian couple appeared on the TV screen, my mom blurted out, "Well, their relationship isn't at all the same as your dad's and mine." In that moment, I realized how passionately personal Americans feel about marriage. Most people care less about gays in the military, hate crimes, workplace discrimination, domestic partnerships, or civil unions. But when it comes to marriage, as my mom so eloquently stated, they aren't equal. We aren't equal. Precisely because Americans value marriage so intensely, marriage is a powerful tool for confronting homophobia, gender conformity, where it lives. Where does it live? It lives in the minds of most Americans. But marriage equality is not an end in itself. Marriage equality is a marker on the road to cultural transformation. Let me say that again. Marriage equality is not an end in itself. It is a marker on the road to cultural transformation. On the left, queer radicals perform a valuable role for the LGBT community in this current cultural tug of war. The right wing has their heavyweights at their end of the rope. Fundamentalists are tugging mightily. At the left end, we need more radical activists using theatrical social commentary, crystallizing the issues, and tugging the debate in a leftward direction, framing the discussion on our terms and setting the agenda. As an example, following the passage of Prop A, the sisters publicly exercised Archbishop George Niederauer. We stripped him bare to his homophobic bones. George played a pivotal role in Prop 8's enactment. People are afraid to criticize the Christian clergy. The sisters exorcised the Archbishop's homophobic demons, calling him to redemption. Jesus Christ, he's a fag. The Archbishop can kiss my queer ass on his unrepentant pilgrimage to hell. The necessary role of LGBT liberal allies is to go before the establishment media and make apologies for our shocking behavior and negotiate the dialogue, as long as condemnations are not substituted for apologies. This symbiotic system works. We play the bad guys, they play the good guys. When some of our LGBT allies accuse us of ruining it for everyone, I ask, ruining what? If ruining it means ruining religious oppression and bourgeois conformity, then I say, let's ruin it. We need a new queer community. A queer community based on values, not based on a sex act. The whole idea of a homosexual is only 100 years old. It was created by the dominant culture attempting to identify and control us. We cannot continue to define ourselves on their terms. Right-wing Christians are right. It is all about values. Though their values are drenched in homophobia, sexism, bigotry, and religious intolerance. I share few common values with LGBT assimilationists. Serving in the military, getting married, moving to a suburban home with a white picket fence, a kid and a dog, a car in the garage, and working as an upwardly mobile cog in the corporate world order are nothing I aspire to. What we do have in common is I don't want to be killed or discriminated against because I suck cock. But are we to be defined by a sex act or a home with a white picket fence, a kid and a dog, a car in the garage, and working as an upwardly mobile cog in the corporate world order are nothing I aspire to. What we do have in common is I don't want to be killed or discriminated against because I suck cock. But are we to be defined by a sex act or a spiritual vision? To paraphrase Don Kilhafner, now, for the first time, the forward-moving force of history compels us to maximize our differences from the dominant culture. Maximize our differences as an act of love to ourselves and to them. The emergence of a new radical queer consciousness. Let us pursue relationships of differentiation, of creation, of innovation, and identity to our unique selves. Let us challenge the assimilationist values of our LGBT compatriots. We must be the vanguard of the truth, the early adapters, on the cutting edge of a new radical queer consciousness. The world depends on us. Lead, and they will follow.
Sister Mrs. Power Hungry Bitch, let's give her a real round of applause. All right, so this is our first speaker, and I want to now invite all the folks who are standing around. available entertainment.